Hello, so I've come to the middle of a firing range, risking my life to bring you this video. That's dedication for you, to show you my new bike. So, without wasting any time, it is there. I have bought a Triumph Street Triple in black, as you can tell. I've had it about 10 days or so. It's done about 100 to 150 miles. And I love it so far. Obviously, who buys a bike they don't love? I've wanted kind of one of these, along with about 50 other bikes, to be fair, since I was learning. One of my instructors had an older version of this bike, and I remember thinking that looked awesome. Out of all, there's maybe 6 instructors where I learned, and they all had different bikes, and didn't really know fuck all about bikes at that point. Looked at it and thought, I love it. He had it in black as well. He just had the, I think, pre-2011 model with the round headlights, which I didn't like so much. I much prefer these new ones. So I thought I'd do a quick walk around. So I'll start at the back. It's got the hideous tail tidy. In fact, I don't think it is hideous compared to some, but it is a big lump of plastic sticking out the back. May look at removing that at some point. Probably will, but it's not an urgent thing for me. It's got the nice clear indicators. I think some used to have yellow. Clear is so much sexier. The model I've got has come with the seat cowl, little fly screen, which I'll show you when I get to the front, and also the belly pan. And kind of come with the bike. I don't think it's standard on it, but a lot of dealers just chuck that in as an extra. The tyre is a Diablo Rosso Corsa. Not really had a chance to test whether it's really any good. I'm running the bike in, it's only 150 miles, and I'm quite boring, old school. I'm going to roughly listen to what they're saying, so 300 miles I'm keeping it below 5,000 revs for the majority of the time at least. And in this weather as well, I don't really want to be hooning it about. But in the wet they don't feel bad. I've tested the acceleration out a little bit and they feel absolutely fine. Rear caliper, I don't know what that is. The front's a Nissan. The rear, one review before I bought the bike said it was a Brembo. I don't recognise that symbol. It would be strange if it was a Brembo. It's probably another Nissan, but I don't know what that C-shaped symbol is. But they're fine. The rear brake is absolutely fine. Rear brake is a rear brake. They're never going to be uber powerful. Would you really want it to? Probably I wouldn't personally. It's to a slow speed and just to help the front brakes. It's not really a sort of powerful brake. It shouldn't be anyway, in my opinion. But they work. It's all good. Exhaust system is all stock. I may look at getting a new can. In fact, I will look at getting a new can at some point. Seat is nice. It is pretty comfortable. It's not a touring bike, obviously, but I've been in it for an hour and 20 minutes and been absolutely fine. The position is quite forward for this style of bike. So I own a VFR 800, just a sport touring bike. This is kind of a Street Fighter naked bike. It's not aggressively upright, if that makes sense. A lot of new modern Street Fighters. So I sat on an MT-09. I've ridden my mate's KTM Super Duke. They're very upright. This is forward a few inches. You're not length forward, but you are in a bit more of a. Yeah, just trying to say it's not as upright as it could be, or some bikes are. I quite like it, so I'm used to the VFR, which is more forward than this, even though I've raised the bars and that. So this it still feels quite relaxed to me, but if you're looking for something upright, proper upright, this probably isn't ideal for you. Suspension on this is just the standard model, so it's not the R model. Is pretty basic. It works fine for me. I'm quite heavy as well, so I was a bit worried about that. The rear has got some preload adjustment. The forks haven't got any adjustment. I may look at getting some new springs or fork oil at some point for the front, but the back I will mess around with it at some point. But at the moment, I've actually not had no problems with it at all. It feels quite fine. It doesn't feel sort of wishy-washy. But that said, I haven't been riding very fast because of the weather, because of the braking. So when you know, as the months go by and it starts getting warmer, I'll start testing it out a bit more and see what it's really like going forward. So the only two additions I've put on this bike are the Triumph tank pad and these mirrors. The tank pad, the ride home, I managed to scratch the tank a little bit. Nothing like through the paintwork, but just a little scuff on it here and there. It's all been covered by this. So as soon as I saw that, it's like, I'm buying this. This is now permanent. I'm not going to take that off. I've also added this, which is the top part of another tank pad, sort of a 10 quid eBay job, which looks quite good. And I've just put that on there because I'm quite a big guy, and it is a little bit leant forward, so my jacket is sort of rubbing in that sort of area. So just a little bit of extra protection, and that does look good. I mean, it looks see-through. It is exactly the same colour as the bike itself, which is good. It's a 17 litre tank, which isn't bad for this style of bike. I think the MT-07, which is a 700 similar to this, is a 14 litre tank if I remember correctly. Don't quote me on that one. So 17 is quite good. It's 105 to 107 brake horsepower depending where you read. Where you get your stats from. I think this might be 105. 107 may have been an older version because they have tweaked it a little bit through the years. Which is more than that's the same as my VFR. That weighs about 60 kilos heavier than this. So this is, I already know it's more punchy by what I've ridden, but once I start opening it up, it should be a lot faster, a lot more acceleration. I think the 0 to 60 times for this is like 2.9 to 3 seconds. Again, different places you read different figures. I don't think Triumph have actually put any forward official figures, but so it's just from anecdotal evidence. Yeah, I've put these little bar mirrors. The only part of the bike that I've disliked since owning it were the mirrors. They were shocking. They look good. I actually love the look of them. They were obviously stalked mirrors, but their adjustability was diabolical. I couldn't see a bloody thing out of them riding home. It was borderline dangerous, and a lot of people have put these on. These are only cheap 12 quid eBay jobs, and they've been fitted in a slightly bodgy way. I may go for the proper Triumph ones at some point. I'll see how I get on with these. They look fine, they're basic, and I can see what's behind me, which is important. I'm not one of these people who thinks riding without mirrors is a good idea. It's not for me. I'm not very flexible, so I can't twist my head around and see behind me at all. My peripheral vision and my flexibility are terrible. So mirrors are a must for me. They don't look too bad either, these ones. But yeah, I'll see how I get on with them. Everything else is pretty much standard, obviously with the belly pan count, fly screen, which are sort of Triumph parts that come with the bike. If that makes sense. So they're not standard, but I think most come with these now. What else have we got? There was the exhaust. It's filthy already. Not even 200 miles and it's filthy. It's a pain in the arse of buying the bike in the middle of winter. The good thing though is it was a lot cheaper than it was a few months before. This is the newer model, obviously. It's 2016 with these lights. I think up till 2011 they had the little round lights, which didn't look the best. And also they've moved this a bit further forward. I think the old one was a bit lower or a bit further out or something, and I have seen ones that they look a bit odd, a bit too far away from the forks, and I prefer this one. It's less offensive. What else is there? So yeah, everything else is standard. Levers functional, look shit, you know, standard with a new bike. On this side, anything, nothing really. No centre stand, point that out. which is a little bit annoying, but I've got a paddock stand, so it's not the end of the world. Really annoys me that the shock spring is blue. Why blue? It's a black bike with silver bits and a sort of red motif, so it's got the red 675 red rim tape, obviously red buttons, but why are they blue? Black, silver or red would have all looked awesome. Blue spring, shit, don't know why they do that, but hey ho. Yeah, the front brake I think I've already covered. More than good basically. So I've come from a 2009 bike, which I still have, to this. This obviously works so much better, and it's ABS, which I do like. I'm not hugely fussed about traction controls. Like maybe I wouldn't have minded traction control. I'm definitely not one of these people who needs 32 degrees of traction control and everything automatic and all that stuff. I'm not particularly concerned about that. The buttons are pretty standard. Passing light, high beam, low beam, indicator, horn, kill switch and ignition, all standard, exactly the same as the Honda I have. Let's show you the display. So, I mean, I've been on Hondas, I've been on Triumphs for a long time, so if you've seen one before, this is nothing too new. Analog rev counter, which I like. I really don't like the electronic ones. I don't know why. To be honest, this is a bit irrational, but I like a needle. I like to know. For some reason, I can see where I'm at with a needle on a round circle without really looking at it. If that makes sense, when I'm looking forward, I don't have to take my eyes off to see. I can sort of have an idea where I'm revving. Not that I don't know anyway, but I sound the engine and so forth. This electronic display is good. It's not amazing. It's not full LCD colour display and graphics and all that stuff. Has a fuel gauge. Older models didn't. Various trip modes: MPG, milestech, empty, current and average MPG. Sorry. A gear indicator, which I've never had before. That's pretty cool. Temperature gauge, although it's only a high to low one. It doesn't give you a number, which I would like. I prefer a number, to be honest. But it also has, before I start up again, these blue lights at the top, and they're adjustable, and they come on to indicate when you reach a certain point in the rev range. So where I'm running it in now, that's really useful, because if I go over the 5,000, which I'm trying to keep under, big blue lights flash up, and I know about it. Got the sticker of how to run it in here, which is a little bit odd to me. That's going to come off, obviously, and whatever the fuck that means. Don't read a book while putting petrol in, because everyone does that. I'm usually halfway through War and Peace, but they're going to come off at some point. There's only 2 buttons, no controls on the handlebars, which would have been good. I think the Street Triple R or RX models, one or both of them have a control button up here, which would have been nice. But and again, what the fuck does that mean? To me, that's an alarm or alert. That's a book, and that's the lights. Don't read a book in a full beam. Point noted. I certainly won't be doing that. But yeah, that's it really. What else? Is there anything else I can tell you? I think I've covered most of the important things. So I've not ridden it a lot. I'm not going to do a review of the bike yet. I will be, because I like talking about bikes. Whether anyone watches it or not, it doesn't really matter to me. It hasn't got a quick shifter, but I may, looking down there, I may get that. I wouldn't mind to play with that. We'll see. Again, not urgent. Things I'm looking to do to it. So I've kind of got I'm trying to be sensible in my head. I'm going to do, obviously, limited money. I haven't got, £2 to go and spend on accessories. I'm going to add bits as I go along. I'm going to start with protectionist stuff. So fender extender and radiator guard are high on my list. It's all the shit being sprayed up there. Rear hugger, crash bobbins. Gonna add these bits as I go along. else is it? That's it really for protection stuff. Crash bobbins. I may get sliders. Not too bothered about them. Then I'm going to start doing nice stuff, so the exhaust, quite harmless. I like a exhaust that can be heard. But that's it, this is my new bike. I hope it's been interesting. I doubt it, but fuck it, it might be. I'm not an expert on the bike at all, not even riding it yet. But if you have any questions, by all means, let me know if you're thinking about it. It's a good time to buy these at the moment because if you're a Triumph fan, you'll already know this. The 765 is rumoured to be coming out next year, which will replace this, which I think is why I got this quite cheap. They're getting rid of the stock, ready for the new stuff, which may end up being my next bike, but I'm stuck with this one for a couple of years. So it's a good time, if you were interested in this, it's a good time to go out and buy one. You should be able to find a good deal. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you all soon.